Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Praise, Promises, and Prayer Ministry JA. Today we are going to be looking at scriptures from the Bible around charity. Around charity. The first one is Proverbs 14 and verse 21. Proverbs 14 and verse 21, and it reads, Blessed is he who is kind to the needy. Proverbs 14, verse 21. Next we have Psalms 41, verse 1 and 2. Psalms 41, verse 1 and 2. And it reads, Blessed is he who has regard for the weak. The Lord delivers him in time of trouble. The Lord will protect him and preserve his life. He will bless him in the land and not surrender him to the desires of his foe. That was Psalms 41, verses 1 and 2. Next we move to Proverbs 28 and verse 27. And it reads, He who gives to the poor will lack nothing, but he who closes his eyes to them receive many curses. Proverbs 28, verse 27. Next we move on to Proverbs 19 and verse 17. Proverbs 19, verse 17, and it reads, He who is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward him for what he has done. Proverbs 19 and verse 17. Next we move to Matthew 25, verse 40. Matthew 25 and verse 40. It reads, The king will repay, I tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me. Matthew 25, verse 40. Next we move into Proverbs 11, verse 25. Proverbs 11, verse 25, and it reads, A generous man will prosper. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Proverbs 11, verse 25. Next we move to Matthew 10 and verse 42, and it reads, Matthew 10, verse 42. Jesus said, If anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones because he is my disciple, I tell you the truth, he will certainly not lose his reward. That is Matthew 10, verse 42. Next we move on to Proverbs 22 and verse 9. Proverbs 22 and verse 9. And it reads, A generous man will himself be blessed, for he shares his food with the poor. Proverbs 22 and verse 9. I'll read that again. A generous man will himself be blessed, for he shares his food with the poor. Next we move on to Luke 14, verse 13 and 14. Again, that's Luke 14, verse 13 and 14, and it reads, Jesus said, When you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. Again, that was Luke 14, verse 13 and 14. Thank you for listening to this episode. Have a blessed rest of the day. Thank you.